Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be trying out the Sephora Best Skin Ever Full Coverage Multi-Use Concealer. I picked this up during the Sephora sale. I hadn't seen this one before, so I'm not sure if it's new, but I've been looking for a new concealer for my kit. My all-time favorite, the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Self-Setting Concealer, was discontinued. So heartbreaking. And I did also try this Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin one, and I really like this, but it's really expensive. So when I saw this Sephora collection one, it was really speaking to me in the way that it was described, but also with the price. So I'm super intrigued to see how this does. It says it has a natural finish, is long wearing, and is good for anti-pollution. It provides 12-hour hydration, and you can use it to retouch and conceal all over the face. Non-comedogenic, dermatology tested, product with 30% certified recycled content. I typically use my concealer in two different ways. One is like how I used it today, which is on a full face of makeup, a full glam beat. The second is the majority of the time for a no makeup type of look. This type of makeup is what I wear on a regular basis, and my concealer is really the star of the show in this look. So I'm gonna try out both ways in this video today and let you guys know what I think and if I think it's a good one for you to pick up and try. So let's get started with the video. So when I'm doing a full glam, full face of makeup, I use my concealer in two different ways. The first of which is under my eyes. The second of which is to build up coverage in areas of my face where I feel like need a little bit of extra coverage after I've already gone in with foundation. Personally, I don't like to use a different concealer under my eyes and on the rest of my face, so I look for concealers that can perform well doing both of those things. Looking at this now, I'm worried that the color is going to be too dark, but we're just going to go ahead and go right in with it. I'm going to start under my eyes and a little bit there. The consistency is nice and thin. Hopefully we still get a good coverage even though the formula is thinner. And I already have my foundation on, so anywhere where I feel like there's a little bit of redness poking through, I'm going in and adding a little bit of extra concealer on top to help cover that up completely. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend that in with my beauty blender, which is how I always blend out my concealer. The color's good, actually. The color's gonna work. So it's really easy to blend out, and actually, I don't know if you guys can see on camera. Yeah, you can see that. It's actually got a little bit of like a dewy, glowy finish, which I was not expecting. It says natural finish. Over here, I'm just going to use a little concealer brush so that I can have a little bit more control. Okay, I'm feeling actually really quite happy with that. I like that it's a little bit glowy and fresh under there. Coverage wise, I would say it's definitely medium to full. It's not super full coverage. It's not completely medium coverage at all. It's somewhere in between there, which I do like. I feel like I want to just add a little bit more right here where I have the most darkness, and we'll see how well it builds on top of itself. In terms of building up the coverage on the rest of my face, I would say that it definitely did what I needed it to do. And yeah, I really think it looks great. I'm also noticing that right off the bat, it's not instantly creasing. Sometimes when I try concealers, as soon as I start blending out my second eye, when I look back at my first eye, it's already starting to crease underneath there, and this one is not doing that. I always set my concealer with powder, so we're gonna do that today. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. I just have mine in a little pan here. I finally found a container to put this in. I was literally just using the pan for so long. Set that, which of course will take the luminosity away, but I like that it's there to start out. I feel like that's a really good sign for when we do this on my no makeup day. The Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Concealer was like that too. It had a really beautiful glow and shine to it. But in the end, I found that that one didn't give me enough coverage. So even though I really liked the natural look of it and how glowy and dewy it just wasn't the concealer for me. So hopefully this is more up my alley. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back and check in with you guys and show you how it looks with the rest of my face done. Okay guys, the rest of my makeup is on, so I just wanted to show you what everything looks like all together and give you a little close-up of how the concealer is looking under my eyes and on the rest of my face. Honestly, right off the bat, I'm feeling really hopeful. I quite like this. A few months ago, I picked up the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Concealer, and I really like this as well. And I'm feeling like they're really similar, but the Sephora one is like half the price. So I'm so curious to see how this wears and to try it out on one of my more no makeup type days. And I'll definitely keep you guys updated, but I'm feeling really hopeful. So far, so good. Hi guys, so it's 9:30. I've had this concealer on my face for many hours now, and I have to say I am really happy with it and actually really quite impressed. I was at the gym earlier sweating so much, and the concealer for the most part has really stayed in place. I feel like all of my makeup really like hung on for dear life today. I'm really impressed with everything considering the fact that I was literally sweating so much and I was out in the rain, and it's been like over 8 hours since I've had everything on. The creasing in my under eyes is so minimal, even compared to some of my other like favorite non-creasing concealers. This is working really well. I do think at this point it's starting to look a little bit dry under here. I can see it kind of caking into my fine lines a teeny bit, but it's literally been on for so long, and I feel like the coverage is still really there, and I'm really impressed by the coverage and how it's really held together in the long run. I'm super happy with it. I'm really looking forward to trying it out on a day where I'm wearing quite a bit less makeup, so let's jump to that now. The second way that I like to wear concealer, and probably the way that I wear concealer most days, is on a day like today where I'm not going to do a full face of makeup, but I am going out into the world and I want to look a little bit more presentable. So I'm not going to wear foundation because that's just too much for day to day, but I am going to use the concealer as basically the only coverage on my face. I'm really curious to see how it will work on a day like today because I was really impressed with it when I was wearing my full glam look. So if it works well for this type of makeup look, it's gonna be an absolute win in my books. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start to apply. I'm gonna do some under the eyes. And then I'm also going to use it to conceal any blemishes. And today's a good test for it actually because I'm breaking out quite a bit on my chin today. So we'll get a good idea of the coverage over top of those breakouts. So I've got my damp sponge here and I'm just gonna go ahead and start blending that in. For me, for my personal everyday concealer, what I'm looking for is something that's medium to full coverage, because when I do a makeup look like this, if my concealer is super full coverage, then I feel like it's the only thing that you can see on my face is where the concealer is, because it's just doing such a good job of making everything look perfect. And so if it's a little bit less full coverage, then for an everyday look, I can get away with just wearing concealer and not having to have foundation on as well. For concealer for my makeup kit, it doesn't need to be wearable for this type of look because I'm generally doing more makeup than this on pretty much any of my clients. But for me, for day-to-day wear, it's gotta work like this as well. Okay, so right off the bat, I can say it's done a great job of concealing the redness, especially around my breakouts. They were feeling really red and inflamed, and that's basically all gone without even needing to color correct. So that's great. I prepped my skin the same way that I always do with my Isntree Mugwort Ampoule and my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. And those usually do a great job of hydrating my skin. And I'm feeling like, especially kind of between my eyebrows here and around my chin, it's looking a little bit dry. I am really happy with the way that it looks around my eyes, and I'm really happy with the coverage that it gave. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup and then set everything with some setting spray, and then we'll see if those areas of my face are still looking a little bit dry. Okay, here we are with all of my makeup on. Wait, I didn't powder. I just realized I didn't put on any powder. That is one thing that I'm really impressed with this concealer by, is I literally didn't even feel the need to powder my face, and I powder my face all the time, no matter what. It just doesn't crease. Like, normally I'm rushing to powder my under eyes before they start moving around and creasing. That's crazy. That's crazy. I forgot to powder. Wow. Let me just add some spray on top of that because I always would spray on top of my powder. Let that dry down. In one way, I'm so impressed with it, and I really like the coverage and the way that it wears around my eyes and the fact that it doesn't crease, but it definitely does look a little bit dry and cakey right between my eyebrows and down here on my chin. So in one way, it's really great, and then in another, not so much. Let me show you what it looks like in natural lighting real quick. Here's the natural lighting. Let me try and zoom in for you. So I don't know if you guys can tell. It just looks a little dry and makeup-y there between my brows and down here on my chin. But overall, I think it looks great. So I'm gonna wear this throughout the day today, and we'll check back in at the end of the night and I'll let you guys know my final review. It's currently 11 a.m. Hello, so it is 3:30. So I've had my makeup on for probably, I don't know, almost 5 hours at this point. I wish I could wear it for a little bit longer, but I'm booked in for hot yoga at 4, so there's no point. I need to wash my face because it would all be coming off anyways. I kind of feel like I don't really need to wear it for a super long time anyways, because when I tested it out in my full glam look, I wore it for a lot longer and it wore really well throughout the day. So longevity, I feel like it has. For the most part, what I wanted to check up on in this final check-in was how it was looking really dry in certain areas of my face. And to be honest, I do feel like it's still looking a little bit dry here and here. Obviously, I'm very shiny. A lot more of my natural oils are starting to come through. I'm actually really curious how this would wear over top of a tinted moisturizer. I have my regular moisturizer on, and then I went right in with the concealer over top, but I'm wondering if I put a base layer in between, because I wear a tinted moisturizer most days as well. I just wanted to try it without it today, but I wonder if I put one of these on underneath and then the concealer on top, if it would help with that. I feel like having a barrier between my skin besides my moisturizer might be helpful. So I'm gonna try that out as well, and I can update on that in a vlog if you guys are interested. My final thoughts for the Sephora Best Skin Ever concealer are that I really like the coverage. I think it works really beautifully around my eyes. It does a great job of concealing the darkness without looking heavy or cakey. I do feel like it gets a little bit cakey in the areas of my face where my skin is a little bit drier. So if you have dry skin, maybe this isn't for you, but if you have oily skin, I think that this might be your absolute new best friend. My skin is very normal, and I do feel like it's very wearable. Like, from a regular distance, you can't tell that anything is off. It's only when I get super up close and I'm being really nitpicky that I feel like I can notice the dryness. I'm gonna continue testing it out. I don't know for sure if this is going to be the one for my makeup kit, but it is a potential contender for sure. It's definitely not going back. I'm going to use this as my concealer this summer, see how it goes, and I will keep you guys updated in future videos. I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.